Yo, yo, what's up, Brooks?
Oh, yo, Baron.
All right, I won't speak like that. I don't like that. How are you doing this cold Tuesday morning?
This terrific Tuesday.
Oh boy,
Trying to stay warm. The room is currently at 75 degrees, so it's
I know
very
it's
warm in my room
great.
right now.
I'm wearing shorts. Despite what it looks like, I did not sleep in this
Yeah, I was about to
hoodie.
say, it looks
But
like you're not wearing shorts up top there.
I didn't sleep in this hoodie. I threw it on this morning when I woke up. But yeah, because I got the fan going. It's great.
There you
Um,
go.
Hope everyone that's listening was able to endure the winter storm if you were affected. Hope you guys have power, have food, water, all that necessary supplies. And if you don't, we're praying that you get it soon and all the help that you need. But yeah, big winter storm coming through this weekend. We got affected a lot of people, affected some football games. We got a lot to talk about. So Brooks, why don't we dive right into it?
Welcome to the greatest podcast on earth. Nothing agreed. We have a great show for you tonight, so stay tuned and buckle up.
Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of Nothing Agreed. Back with the boys today. Baron, I am stuttering because we have one future game left, man. We have one more game of the NFL season. And you know what that means, Baron?
Super Bowl 60.
You know what that means, Baron?
Hmm.
This podcast is going to turn a lot into scouting, the draft analysis, into hypotheticals, into fun episodes after this one. We're going to have some fun during the offseason, but right now we have the biggest matchup, the game of all games after this conference championship weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to ask my question. How are you doing?
All right. Staying warm and all that good stuff. So yeah. How was your snow weekend?
Honestly, it was pretty good. We did not lose power here, which is good. Lots of ice here. Um, it was impossible for me to drive on the day of the storm
Mm.
because my car was so cold. Yesterday, it took me about 45 minutes, like an hour to get all the snow off. It was like 39 degrees out, so it started melting in the sun. Uh, and the back of like the rear view windshield did not melt, and I was driving
Oh boy.
on the highway on the
Yes,
interstate,
that's not
and the
good.
top part of the ice flew off my car. It was like a missile out of another car, dude. It was crazy. It did not hit the car. I was like, holy crap. So that's how my winter storm went. It's good. Other than that, we still have a little bit of ice, but other than that, I think the roads are clearing up.
That's good. That's good. Sure you got to spend the whole day watching football.
I did. I did. It was
That's
fun.
good.
It
That's
was
good.
some of the games went how I want, other games did not go how I want. So
Well, there were only two, so
yep.
I think you went one of one,
Yeah, we both technically in our predictions went one of one. So
and in our hearts also.
went 1-1.
But yeah. I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy weekend for the most part. Let's talk about the games. Jump right into it.
Let's
Stop beating
just
around the
do it,
bush.
man.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We'll start pretty quickly. We got Broncos Patriots. Jared Stidham versus Drake May, and what looked like was going to be a pretty good game. And halftime turned quickly into probably some leftover from that winter storm, but quickly turned into a blizzard. Field was hard to see, hard to throw the ball, and it quickly became a what is it called? A game of attrition. Who can outlast the other team longer?
Okay, Baron.
Um, and I apologize to my viewers and
Oh,
to our fans because during the snow day, I was out and about partaking in snowball fights, sledding, and building snowmen. And I was at my friend's house watching the first half of the game, and I was on the way back for the second half, and it took me a lot longer than anticipated. So I really did not watch much of the second half of this game.
oh,
I really only watched the first half, and I can go ahead and give you my halftime analysis because I think that might have some insight here. But I mean, I took a step back or in my car driving back at halftime from that game. I'm like, this is the Broncos game to lose right here. You've got the big touchdown throw by Jared Stidham, then the touchdown pass by Jared Stidham, and the offense looked like it was moving. Your defense was able to hold this New England offense, so it looked good to be in the Broncos' favor. Obviously, we were tied 7-7 going into halftime. Broncos had opportunities to put points on the board and decided to not take those opportunities and go for more points. And that'll probably be the ultimate story of the game, Brooks, because again, you can't really no one in this world's a fortune teller. No one can predict the future, but you can do a very good job at it. So I think, to me, I think a lot of the scrutiny is going to go to Sean Payton and his decision making throughout the game. I think there were 2 field goal attempts they foregoed and attempts to try and pick up the first down. And if you kick and made both those field goals, then you are on your way to the Super Bowl at this point. So,
Baron, do you feel like that's becoming a common theme of these teams that are losing?
it certainly seems to be a trend now.
Chicago Bears, we can immediately call that one. And Ben Johnson. There's a couple moments in the regular season about Dan Campbell, but just in the playoffs in general, the Chicago Bears, that's one, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Broncos, right there, I would say is 2.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So those are 2 that jump off to me. I know there's probably 1 or 2 other teams that you could. I mean, the Rams. The Rams, we'll get to that game too. But there's arguments you can make about the Rams not kicking field goals as well. But we'll get to that point later down the line. There are many moments that hindsight is 20/20. But if you take the points, you move on to the next round.
Yeah. Again, I think if that's me, I don't get the statement or the argument where you want to go big or go home when you're playing with a backup quarterback. I'm kind of the mindset of you take every chance you get. Because granted, that 52-yard throw by Stidham was amazing, best throw of the game by either quarterback. And then immediately set that up with that touchdown pass. I get if you're Sean Payton, you look at that from your backup quarterback and be like, all right, this guy can ball. We're going to be aggressive this game. I still just don't agree with the idea of go big or go home when you're in the playoffs. You have home field advantage, and you have a backup quarterback. Like, to me, the mindset of go big, go home is you are on the road in the playoffs, significant underdog, like a 5 against a 1 seed, and your starting quarterback got injured during the game, and your backup was thrown in the middle of the third quarter. That's the sort of mindset I see myself in when I'm talking about go big or go home with my backup quarterback in. When you've had a whole week to prepare with your backup, you've got all of your other guys on the field, you're the 1 seed, you've got home field advantage. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm taking those points there. And again, like you said, hindsight is 20/20. Obviously, if he had kicked both those field goals, the Denver Broncos are on their way to the Super Bowl right now instead of the Patriots. But that turns out to not be the case.
Did you see the blocked field goal at least?
I did not see that one. Actually, I did see that one.
With about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
I think, I did see that one.
Yeah. So Will Lutz had a field goal that went wide left, but it was blocked. So they had a chance to tie the game. It was just they couldn't take it because of the wintry weather, plus having to kick low and try to keep it out the air and kind of line drive it when against them.
I think the ultimate sin is, and I forget at what point in the game, but it was before halftime. They were in the red zone. It was 4th down. It was not snowing yet, and they decided to go for the touchdown instead of kick that field goal.
There was one in the first quarter where it was a 4th and 1.
That was it then.
And they did the play action, and it got immediately blown up.
Okay, so maybe there were 2 separate times, but I'm pretty sure there was a play, again, unless I'm remembering this wrong, but I'm almost certain there's a play that's within the New England 10-yard line. Like, you could see the end zone the Broncos are trying to get into. And it's like 4th and 2, 4th and 1. They don't pick it up, and they go for it again. It's like a play out of under center. I don't remember what the play was per se, but it was super close to the end zone. They don't pick it up, and instead of kicking the chip shot field goal, they go for it. Don't pick up the points. I don't remember if that was this
I
game
think
or
that's the
not.
same play because it's about
Okay, that
the
might have been the same play.
18-yard line, 17-yard line, probably.
Regardless, you had a chance to put points on the board with your field goal kicker before it got really super snowy, super hazardy out there. And yeah, like you said, hindsight 2020. If you kick that field goal, this game was at least going to go into overtime. If not, you're at least making the Patriots have to think about putting the ball in the air, putting the ball in harm's way against your defense in the snow. And who knows how that would have went for you. So yeah, I think people are gonna look back at this game and it's gonna be mostly put on Sean Payton. Because again, defensively, you hold the Patriots to 10 points, 7 points before the snow starts coming down. I don't think you can look at the defense and be like, yeah, that's on you. I think you could maybe point to Jared Stidham and be like, you could have done better. But again, backup quarterback, and look what he did do before it started snowing. It really wasn't terrible. So yeah, I think ultimately this Broncos loss will fall on the shoulders of Sean Payton. That's probably what will be talked about in this offseason. And yeah, and I do think they win this game with Bo Nix. I don't think that's something that can really be argued. I don't think.
I think so as well. But I think one of the things that I noticed, especially in the second half and the fourth quarter when the snow went down,
Mm-hmm.
we can talk about leads, we can talk about game planning, but the Patriots were just tanking Ramondre Stevenson. I mean,
Yeah.
they were handing him the rock, I think almost every down it was. Of course, Drake May had a scramble. He had a throwaway. I think like 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13 on the 4-yard line. Um, and my biggest thing is that do those white jerseys cause a little bit of an issue with a snowstorm where it's particularly very white outside? And if you tell me a problem, I mean, Drake May had 80 passing yards, right? And a lot of those came in the first half. How about Jared Stidham? Most of those came in the first half too. But that's kind of my point: is that it's hard maybe in the snow to throw with the visibility, but also it's kind of a little bit of a mismatch with the jerseys. Like you can't see as
Yeah.
well, and then you got white jerseys. So, and it's predominantly white.
I
You can
would
see
say
numbers and all that, but it's a predominantly white jersey.
no. Yeah, you're definitely right about that to some degree at least. But I would say another big factor, especially at Mile High, probably not as much in other stadiums, but would be the wind. Being that high up, the wind is a lot stronger, a lot faster, a lot more present. I guess you could say. So if it was, I can imagine if the wind was yipping around yesterday, then or 2 days ago, whenever the games were played, then yeah, I would not want to be putting that ball in the air because yeah, I mean, a single gust of a wind like that can make a 10-yard pass become a 40-yard pass to the enemy, the other team. So I get why when it starts getting like that, especially a Mile High, you want to run the ball. But again, that's kind of what we talked about last episode going into the game is whichever team has the better run game is probably going to win this game. And we were both saying it would probably be Denver with the better offensive line for the most part. And I think we could both agree that R.J. Harvey would be the better running back right now than what New England has. So especially being without their starting quarterback, we expected Denver to lean a lot more on that run game. So, yeah, I mean, kind of when you think about it, this is sort of the game that this was kind of. I mean, Denver really should have won this game. I mean, you look at this, you look at the conditions; it's super bad or super like rainy, sleety, snow. You don't want to throw the ball. That gives you an advantage. Most people would probably say you have the better run game. Most people would probably say you have the better defense. You have the home field advantage. Like this game seemed like it was made for Denver to win with their backup quarterback, and Sean Payton just couldn't execute properly. That's what I'm going to take away from it at least.
I think we can blame Sean Payton a little bit. I don't mind, but I still think it's execution straight from the offense too. I still think Stidham has to be better, right? Stidham has to be better. RJ Harvey has to be a little better. The run blocking, it was kind of everything felt so easy in the second half. And you can blame the weather all you want, but at the end of the day, just felt like the battle of the trenches, which should not be affected by the weather, went New
No.
England's way a lot of the time. So that's what I think. That's what I noticed about the game. But I do believe if Bo Nix was here, if Bo Nix was here and I knew he was here, I wouldn't have predicted the Patriots to win. I still would have thought that the Broncos would win. Knowing Stidham was there, that's why I thought the Patriots would win, because it's just so hard when the backup quarterback in the conference championship first game hasn't thrown a pass in a year and a half in a live, NFL type environment. We can talk about practice all you want, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think if Bo Nix is in that game, both ways, I think it goes the Broncos' way. But now we're gonna see second-year quarterback Drake May, Mike Vrabel, come in, and let's see what they can tune the band to, man.
Yeah, you get a Super Bowl opportunity. I don't think anyone was really rooting for this, but here we are. Patriots are right back in the Super Bowl, Brooks. Robert
Right back in
Kraft.
it.
I don't know if this is the first owner ever, but it's a very remarkable stat. He has now brought 3 different head coaching and quarterback duos to the Super Bowl, or he's been the owner for 3 different. So shout out him. Obviously, the gold standard of NFL ownership right there, probably. Maybe not in non-league related actions, but in terms of what he does with his organization, got to be the gold standard.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see what the Patriots can do in the Super Bowl. We'll probably talk a lot more about the actual Super Bowl matchup in a later episode, probably close to the Super Bowl, because we'll have more current insight and knowledge of the rosters and what's going on and all that. But yeah, doesn't I think we can easily say, at least early predictions, I think you would say, based on what we've seen from both conference winners, I don't think the Patriots are going to be favored in this Super Bowl like they usually are.
I mean, they're not. I can already say that for sure, knowing the betting odds.
Right.
So yeah.
So yeah, best of luck to you. A very young team, and yeah.
Should we just jump ship over to the night game?
Well, I think we'll take our biggest
Talented
take. I
Falcons.
guess our biggest takeaway for the Patriots' whole playoff run, right, is how legitimate was it? And we'll probably do the same thing for the Seahawks. But yeah, I mean, or not how legit is it, their biggest takeaway from their playoff run. I just think for the
I
Patriots,
mean, we can talk about the Patriots' entire season not being legitimate.
well, yeah, obviously they finished the regular season with the seventh easiest schedule in the last 60 years of the NFL football. Since the Super Bowl started, they've had the 7th easiest schedule, and that's 32 schedules for every 60 years. The 7th easiest. So let's throw that out there. And then you look at their their path to the playoff. You have playoff Justin Herbert, who's probably one of the worst quarterbacks ever. You have C.J. Stroud, who's also probably one of the worst quarterbacks ever. And then you get to play a backup in a snow and sleet game like we saw the other day. And which a game where your starting quarterback only needed to throw 86 yards to win the conference championship and go to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I think that'll ultimately be the legacy, unfortunately, that this Patriots team leaves behind. Not how great of a job first year head coach Mike Vrabel did, how great and how good Drake May looks year 2, and how much this coaching
Second
staff,
year head coach Mike Vrabel.
and and how much this coaching staff's gotten these core players ready to play. Because you look back at the regular season and you look at their games against the Bills; those are noteworthy. Obviously, the first victory they had, and then the late game. Ultimately, they didn't win, but they showed a lot of fight and effort. But yeah, they've got their biggest test of the year, obviously, with the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. This will, in my opinion, easily be the best defense they will have faced. I guess besides maybe the Texans, but they're not playing again a disabled quarterback to pair with that elite defense this time. So yeah, I think they will certainly have their work cut out for them. It'll be a very busy and interesting 2 weeks in that building, and yeah, but shout out to them for making the Super Bowl. It's no easy feat to do. Anyone can tell you that. Again, there's 4 teams in the entire NFL that have never made a Super Bowl. So shout out the Patriots, and best of luck to you.
Yeah, I think it's time. If I think we'll save it to the Patriots, I think, if you're a fan of New England, it's of course going to be amazing. I think if you're just a fan of turnarounds, it's still a great turnaround. Just because of where they were 2 years ago, you could say where they were last year, and having that big turnaround, having a young quarterback Drake May, a lot of fun. So yeah, Stephon Diggs turnaround. There's some turnaround stories on here that make both teams very exciting. Of course, there's a couple turnarounds to talk about in Seattle, but for the Patriots, it's just back to the dynasty kind of time of what they want to be, right back in the Super Bowl, right where Boston sports are usually at in the championship games. So there you go.
I hate those fans. They don't deserve what they get.
I did see my friend sent me a TikTok and it was like, this is the only reason I don't want New England to win, and it was like because they're the corniest fan base, like with all
Did
the
you s-
Drake May
did you see that?
memes
Did
and
you
all
see
that
that
kind of
one
stuff.
meme? And it's like, a second grade New England fans seeing their team in a championship game for the first time ever, or something like that. It's
I
like,
did
yeah,
not, but
come on, dog. Second graders, like, shut up. Come on.
oh, my life's been controlled by New England Patriots, man. They've been controlled.
Yeah. Again, I think if any if any other quarterback was on this team, they would not be getting the love that they are getting. But New England fan base is strong. Drake May fan base is strong. We'll see if it's strong enough to overcome the Seahawks. But we will move on to the Rams and Seahawks game. Easily the better game of the two, at least in my opinion. Um, yeah, Brooks, takeaways. What you got from that game? I know
Takeaway.
you were a big Ram advocate for the year. They had a chance to get it done. Not quite the case. Yeah, I'll let you start with this one because you were a Rams guy.
Let me say this. All right, let me say this. I was a big Rams guy. Um, I want to say this. I'm happy for Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
I think they fully deserve to win that game. And honestly, I'm not the biggest LA sports fan guy, so don't kind of be defending LA sports. I thought the Rams were just experienced enough to get the job done.
LA fans don't deserve shit either. So
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that. Don't lump me in with those people. But I will say, just the testament of the Rams. We can look at the first round and we can say that's a bad performance, but I still think coming back on the road shows character, right? They beat the Chicago Bears in Soldier Field, the young Chicago team that was hungry, and they took Seattle, which was, I think, the best team in the NFC, record wise, of course, but also just going into the playoffs, the momentum,
mm-hmm.
um, right to the wire, man, right to the wire. So that's when I want to give a round of applause to the Los Angeles Rams. But I'll say for Seattle's side, um, this is the team that I wanted to win. Like if I just was choosing purely based on who I want to win,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I went 1-1 because I wanted the Broncos and the Seahawks. But Seahawks got the job done. Um, I actually own a Seattle jersey, so
There you go.
but I won't be wearing it after what happened last time I wore a Seattle jersey. Um, Not a good story. Wore my Marshawn Lynch jersey. They didn't hand the football off. That's all I'll say. So, um, Sam Darnold,
Yes.
comeback, revolutionary, amazing. Kenneth Walker comes in after Zach Charbonnet tears ACL and was really putting some mean stuff on the ground. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Is he the best receiver in the league?
Yes. Yes.
I want to say if some other guys had some better quarterbacks, I could
Oop.
put them right there.
Oop.
Um, Justin Jefferson.
I think the best
But
way to look at it is look at Justin Jefferson's season last year with Sam Darnold, and then look at Jackson
mhm.
Smith and Jigba's season this year with Sam Darnold. I think I still like JSN.
That's a fair point to make. That's a point I was about to say as well. Um, it's a team that its defense is great. The front seven. My biggest takeaway from this game. That's the question you asked. Holy Trump and Kamala Harris pivot right there. I just did. My biggest takeaway is the Los Angeles Rams will be selecting all secondary throughout free agency and throughout the draft. They will be looking at corners, um, and the special teams will be getting a heavy inspection during the offseason as well. Um, you look at some of these teams that were favorites to go to the Super Bowl or just coaches, Shanahan and McVay being the easiest one to point out. Special teams was really their Achilles heel. And so you really see how important special teams is in this league.
Yeah. Definitely have some questions to address in the offseason. 2 first-rounders to address it with. That'll be helpful for sure. I think another big takeaway, if you're the Rams, is how much left does Matt Stafford have in the tank? Because at some point you got to start thinking about that replacement. And yeah, ultimately, kind of like what I said last week, the Seattle defense is the best unit on the field. And they didn't play great, but yeah, like you said, that Rams defense, like I said, is the worst unit on the field, and they played that way. Yeah, Sam Darnold had a great game. Matthew Stafford had a great game, but ultimately, the Seattle defense made the stop when they needed to. Despite Tyreek Woolen trying his hardest to not allow that. In fact, if it wasn't for him single-handedly, I think this game would be a much bigger difference in terms of the scoreboard. But yeah, he tried his single best to send the Seahawks to Cancun for awesome. He must have booked a bunch of rooms to one of those resorts. But yeah, we'll talk about Seattle a lot more. It's the matchup going into New England, but we'll do the biggest takeaway from them from the season or the playoffs. And that would probably be, I think most people, you just got to go and say it, off-season acquisition of the year, Brooks. I think the ultimate loser from this year as a whole is probably the Minnesota Vikings. Again, this is a 14-win team. I think if you asked the average NFL fan from this season, they had a defense that was good enough to make a postseason run. And again, I've said it all season, Brooks. What is it? They're one step away from a Super Bowl contention, and what's that one step?
You've said it all year.
All year.
This has been your blazing hot take of the year. It's quarterback position.
Their quarterback last year's in the Super Bowl. That's all I'm gonna say. Granted, I do think that the Seattle defense is a lot better than the Vikings defense.
I was gonna bring that up.
But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and jump the gun here because I think a lot of people would say, "Well, look at the NFC North and how competitive it was. Look at the NFC West and how competitive it was." I mean, you had that division sent 3 teams to the playoffs. 3 teams were in the divisional round, mind you. 3 teams that had won 10-plus games. The NFC North didn't have that. They only had. Did the Packers even win 10-plus games? I think they capped out at 9.
They were. They had a tie.
Yeah.
They were 9-8-1.
Yeah, exactly. So, 14 wins for the Minnesota Vikings, you would have been the 1 or 2 seed again this season. Yeah. So, yeah, I think if you're the biggest losers, again, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, the biggest losers of the 2025 and 2026 season are the Minnesota Vikings. Because I think full-heartedly, in my heart of hearts, based on what I've seen from Sam Darnold this year, there's no reason to assume they wouldn't be right where the Seahawks are right now. I think Brooks is doing some research on something, but
I think that's a good idea for next episode to have a winners and losers of 2025-2026 season.
Good. Put that down. I have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. But I will say I'm not going to say anything about winners because that could be a good idea. So I'll say this. If Sam Darnold was on the Minnesota Vikings, I don't think they make the Super Bowl. This defense is not good enough to make a Super Bowl. The Seattle defense is top 3. So I think just saying that alone, you take into account last year as well. Minnesota's defense, they were turnover heavy last year. They created a lot of problems for teams last year, and they were a first-round exit. So that defense was much better last year than it is this year. That offense, I still think was better last year than it is this year, even if they had Sam Darnold at quarterback. So I mean, you got to think about this year. Aaron Jones was not. He was
that is
in
true.
the lineup.
I was going to come out and make a point about the Seahawks probably have a much better run game, but
Jordan Addison was suspended the first 3 games. But
when you have a guy like Justin Jefferson and a guy like Sam Darnold, You can wait out those 3 games.
Is Sam
You got
Darnold?
TJ Hawkinson over there. You
Let's
can
just
throw
do
the ball to.
baseline here. TJ Hawkinson, I think, is getting too old. He's not really the same TJ Hawkinson was in Detroit and kind of started Minnesota. Let's take baseline here, Baron.
Okay.
Is Sam Darnold baseline a top 5 quarterback in this league?
No.
Okay. Is he top 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wondering. You would have. Oh no, never mind. I can't ask that question anymore. This is new Baron. This is not old Baron.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. I see. Would you have a guy like Justin Herbert over Sam Darnold?
No.
Okay. What about Dak? I know you hit the Cowboys, but Dak Prescott.
Absolutely not. Again, to me, there's a lot more to being a successful quarterback than just being able to throw the ball far. Obviously, you have to be able to throw it well, but it's kind of like the NBA point guard. There's more to being a point guard than just being able to shoot the ball or being able to pass the ball. You got to be able to do both. You got to be able to read what's in front of you. You've got to be able to assess which players on your team have a mismatch. Like you are to me, the NBA point guard or the basketball point guard is the closest thing to a coach actually playing, right? Because what makes a point guard
the traditional point guard,
right?
Yes.
What can make a really good point guard really good is just how well they know football or how well they can do little things to contribute to winning, or say basketball. Sorry. So that's kind of like what I look for in a good quarterback, is someone who just contributes to their team or to elevates their team. And I think a lot of that is shown in how you do in pressure situations, big games, playoff moments. A guy like Justin Herbert has proven that he cannot get it done in pressure situations, playoff games. He falters, he shrinks, he does not rise to the occasion, he lowers. That's not a good quarterback in my opinion. Dak Prescott, kind of the same opinion. In the postseason, big games, he's shown flashes that he can rise to the occasion in those big moments, but overall, just can't really do it. To me, not a great quarterback. Sam Darnold, whether you want to talk about how great his team is around him or how great his coaching staff is, it's just a fact of a matter. You have to be good at what you do as an NFL quarterback to be a 14-win team, to make an NFL Super Bowl. Sam Darnold, based on what I've seen this season, has done, to me, does the things proper and necessary to elevate his team and get them in the proper places they need to win. Guys like Patrick Mahomes do that. I think there's a good case to be made that guys like Joe Burrow do that. We haven't been able to see him super healthy, but it just doesn't seem like that's a guy someone does. It's going to sound biased, but a guy like Jalen Hurts does that. A guy like, I'm trying to find another example. A guy I would say possibly.
Let me do this. Let me make this really easy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He said Sam Darnold's not top 5, but he's top 10. So let me get the big 4 out of the AFC. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Is he better than any of those 4?
Are you talking about this alpha this season or all time?
Baseline. Just baseline. When I say baseline, I say I'm taking this guy over this guy.
Patrick Mahomes, yes. Lamar Jackson, yes. I don't know about Josh Allen. I really don't.
What? Really?
Again.
Okay. Time out.
And and you know that I'm not a big Josh Allen guy. I think
I'm not
he's
really either, but
vastly overrated.
Now, Joe Burrow, you would take over Sam Darnold.
I think I would, yes.
I know I would. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, you go to the NFC.
Well, again, availability is the best ability.
That's fair, but if you take Joe Burrow with just an average offensive line, average, I think he's going to become a little more available.
Yeah,
you know
but an offensive line's not going to contribute to turf.
Video games are not the best comparison. You know, college football has wear and tear. That guy is on red every time he steps in the pocket. He's getting obliterated. All right.
Madden has that too now.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. So, screw Madden. Now, we go to the NFC, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 guys I think you should take over him automatically are Matthew Stafford.
As like right now? No, I wouldn't.
Wait, so the guy who's going to win MVP of the league, you wouldn't take over?
I think they're neck and neck right now.
What?
Yeah.
No. Okay. All right. Wait. So you're telling me?
Again, if you're going off of what I've seen.
Okay. Jalen Hurts.
I'd probably take Matthew or Sam Darnold right now.
Okay.
Again,
So
if you're talking
you
about
think there's
baseline right
baseline?
now,
No.
obviously I'm going to want Sam Darnold from what I've seen. If you're talking about all time, then yes, Matthew Stafford is a better player than Sam Darnold.
That's legacy. That's legacy.
Okay, all right, so we're not talking about legacy. We're talking about right now. All right, cool.
Yeah, we're taking if this season restarted and you got everyone just baseline, right? Average
Baseline.
team.
Oh,
Average
everything's
team.
okay. Everything's even. I would go. Okay, so I would go Patrick Mahomes. I would go Lamar Jackson. I would go Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. Let's see. I would again go Drake
No Matt
May.
Stafford.
No, I would go Drake May. Hold on. We're talking about
Okay.
right now. Drake May 5. Okay. I'll put Stafford 6. Darnold 7. Josh Allen 8. Jared Goff 9. Or no, Baker Mayfield 9. And then I feel like I'm forgetting some. Oh, and then you'll put Trevor Lawrence 10.
So you think Trevor Lawrence is better than Josh Allen?
I put Josh Allen at 8.
Oh, you did. Right.
Yeah.
Short-term memory loss. Wait, what did you say?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's where we go right now. But yeah, I think Sam Darnold has proven that he is the what is it? He's the Anthony Edwards of Matthew Stafford's. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Or maybe not Anthony Edwards. Let's say he's the Karl Anthony Towns of Matthew Stafford's.
Who? Sam Darnold?
Yeah, if that makes
All right.
sense.
I don't see the zestiness in Sam Darnold.
Well, it's not really about the zestiness. You could equate that to the ability to see ghosts. It's more of once they got out of Minnesota, they really started balling.
Cat was a baller on Minnesota. I don't know.
Yeah, but look at him on the Knicks now.
People want him gone on the Knicks. They want him traded. They want his ass gone.
I guess that's true.
They want Giannis for him, bro. They want to get a whole package.
Okay, but at the same point, you would have traded Trae Young for Giannis. So like.
Okay, but would I trade Trae Young, 6 first rounders?
Yes, you would have.
See, I hate trading first rounders. I hate it. It all stems from.
I don't know. In the NBA, I'd low key be a lot more comfortable than in the NFL. Because in the NFL, I feel like you're in a much more unique spot if you have like a late first round pick than in the NBA. Like if you have a 22nd pick, I'm trading that in a heartbeat.
But it depends on the environment I'm in.
That's the point. I'm just saying statistically, NBA draft picks outside of the lottery don't pan out. So it makes sense to trade those for win now or already proven players.
Let me say this. Like the Boston Celtics and Brooklyn Nets trade in 2013 just ruined my entire perception on first rounders because of what they became, right?
Okay.
And so that's the same thing right now with what's happening to the Hawks. We give up 3 first rounders for DeJounte Murray. And now our first rounder is not ours. So right now, the Spurs have a lottery pick. And even more so right now, Baron, is that we, the Hawks, have the Pelicans pick, which is right now top 2. So unprotected. So
isn't that beautiful?
I hate getting rid of first rounders unless I'm like a 2016 Cleveland or 2017 Cleveland, right? Where I know I have LeBron freaking James and I'm going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals minimum to where I'm a 27 or later.
Yeah, well, if you're the Hawks, you feel pretty good. You might have the 2nd overall pick. But then we have the lottery and all that rigging bullshit. So then you might get bumped back.
That's why we got freaking Zachary Reese-Shea. We should have got fucking Wemby, but never mind.
The worst. What's it called? The worst year to win the first overall.
Oh my god, dude. I mean,
what was it? It was the year. It was what? Who was the year before Wemby? Who was the first pick? It was
Paolo.
Yeah, Paolo. Then Wembanyama. Then Rishishir.
You can go even further back in. Baird. You can go further. Anthony Edwards.
Okay. Oh yeah. Let's go.
Cade Cunningham. Paolo, Wemby, Risa Shea, Cooper Flag. This bullshit of a league, all right? Don't get me fucking started. We can't get shit in Atlanta. Big market my fucking ass. We don't
Oh
get
man.
shit. Your privilege is fucking Philly,
All
all right?
right.
And you talk about your angriness, all right? You've seen your fucking team win 2 fucking Super Bowls,
That's
all
fair.
right?
No,
Yeah.
that is fair.
You
Yeah.
didn't care about baseball, but when you were alive, your team won a World Series.
It's
All
also
right.
true. Yeah, that is
My
also
team has won
true.
1 World Series. It's blown 28-3, 2-3-1 leads in the NLCS. Fucking the Hawks blew a 2-1 lead against the Bucks, and Giannis got hurt because Trae Young got fucking rolled his ankle on the referee. I can't get shit as an Atlanta fan. And don't get me started on every blown lead the Falcons have.
Well, you guys get a bunch of rappers, so it should be okay.
We do have great music.
There you go. And food.
Who do y'all have? Meek Mill, and that's it?
Lil Uzi Vert.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Um, we don't have skinny jeans. Anyway,
You don't got Atlanta rap though.
so yeah, Rams definitely need a retool. I feel like a small retool.
I don't think they're in a position to rebuild. You're right.
No, they're not, because you
Step
look
on
at
the gas.
well,
'Cause
you look
only
at
have
you look
so
at your
much.
defensive playmakers. They're young. Puka Nakua, young. I don't know if they value or if they see Kyron Williams as their running back of the future. I think if you look at his snap count at the end of this season,
Blake Corum.
probably
Corum.
not. But I'm also not. Again, this is just a me philosophy. I don't think teams benefit a lot from a running back by committee sort of role. I think you need to have a guy and then a backup. I don't think committees tend to work out, i.e., why the Detroit Lions will most likely be trading David Montgomery this season. But yeah, we'll see. Like you shout out their secondary, I definitely think they will spend at least one first-round draft pick in that area.
Avion Terrell, welcome home.
Don't again. Who is the Rams' current listed backup quarterback?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's almost as old as Matthew Stafford. Do not be surprised if the Rams take a quarterback later on this draft.
Oh no, I wouldn't be surprised
That's
at all.
all I'm saying. Probably a guy that you might be surprised at by, like one of those quarterback names that you might be surprised by.
Carson Beck.
Yeah, honestly. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
All the ladies out in LA, Carson.
Oh,
Come
good
on.
God. Stetson Bennett 2.0 right there.
Your shit just gave me a heart.
Yeah, Stetson Bennett spent his time in the NFL and the Rams before getting sent to the UFL.
Yeah, he had mental health issues. All right, don't make fun of someone with mental health issues.
You're a professional athlete. You get to have fun made. You get to get made fun of. Anyway, well, maybe not because of that, but he really has mental. I never saw that.
Mm-hmm. He took a hiatus from the NFL because of that. They went
Is
to
he
a
still
rehab.
on hiatus, or
No, he's back.
he just sucks?
Yeah, he's just an undressed guy. That's all.
All right. Well, prayers up to him. Seattle. We'll talk about them more next episode with our Super Bowl 49 rematch. By the way.
Yep. Let's talk about.
You think they're gonna run the ball this time?
No, they're gonna pass it. They're gonna go to JSN. He's
I don't
gonna
know.
get bumped.
If you've got, I don't know. You got Kenneth Walker on the 1 yard line. I might put that ball on the ground.
They're gonna do a pick play again out of because the league's rigged. And it's gonna be Rashid Shaheed who gets absolutely bodied by Christian Gonzalez for an interception. So there you go. I've already seen the script. All right?
He read it. He read it. He's part of the media now.
Pat Super Bowl win. All right, Drake May is gonna win. All right?
I genuinely don't know what I would do. That would be so bad.
You might. You know, like how the Panthers retired their podcast. That one Panthers fan. You might see us retire our podcast.
I can't talk about the Patriots winning another Super Bowl.
I'd be so hurt.
Like actually, genuinely, like I'm so serious. And if you're watching, you can comment this. If you are not from the New England area, or you're not a Patriots fan, and you're not a University of North Carolina fan, I need you to write a 3-paragraph essay for why you would be cheering for the New England Patriots. And you can.
I can give you reasons.
Well, you can put it in the comments. You can send it to us on Instagram.
I can already give you the reasons.
Why? Oh, because they don't like the Seahawks?
Exactly.
Okay,
Rams
well that's
fan, Niners fan,
Okay,
Cardinals fan.
those three are also actually no. If the 49ers, Loki should be cheering for the
No,
what's it called? For the
no.
Seahawks.
Why?
Do they want the Patriots to keep getting more rings than them as a franchise?
You don't want your division rival to win a Super Bowl.
Uh, I don't know. I think I'd rather have them win one than the Patriots get seven. Because again, if
No,
you're the 49ers,
you don't
again,
even
if you're
ask
the
the Patriots.
49ers in the last before 10 years ago, if you were the 49ers fan, you were tied with the Cowboys for the second most amount of rings in the NFL history, right, with 5, behind the Steelers with 6. Now, the Steelers and Patriots are both tied for 6. Patriots win. Now they're alone with 7. Steelers are 6. Now you're third. And again, 49ers and Cowboys haven't won Super Bowl since the 90s. So that trend continues. You're just going to keep moving down and down the list. I guarantee you there's going to be 49ers fans out there that will be cheering for the Seahawks.
Bang bang Niner gang.
Exactly. In fact, I know a ton of personal Steelers fans that will be cheering for the Seahawks. So
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Of course. The
absolutely,
Patriots and the Steelers are a rivalry in my opinion, especially in the 2010s.
Exactly. So, I genuinely don't see a lot of people really cheering for the Patriots. I think it's going to be a green hawk wave.
Ah. Ah.
Do you think it'll be a big home game for the Seahawks in terms of
No.
the Super Bowl? I was gonna say I think
No.
Patriots fans. There are
No,
a lot of them.
not of that either.
Yeah, there are a lot of them.
No,
So.
I think it will be 100,000 CEOs, 13 people who are billionaires, um, fans who are flown out because Fanatics got them 2 free tickets because they were like a funny TikTok dance.
Oh, and you got to think of
Um,
each organization sends like 4 or 5 fans too.
yeah, corporate, it's not
So
going to
they're all
happen.
probably cheering for the Seahawks though.
Depends. Maybe if they cheer for the Seahawks, all their Robert Kraft businesses go out of partnership. So maybe they're not. So, oh no, Robert Kraft, he can't
All
hook me
right.
up with the prostitutes anymore.
Regardless, let us know who you're cheering for in the Super Bowl. We'll do some more coverage on
We're
it.
we're on the same page of who we're cheering
Yeah,
for.
we'll do some more coverage closer to the day of. For now, we can jump into briefly because we spent a lot of time on it the last couple episodes. Coaching updates, yay, so fun. That much has changed. Some coordinators, like I say, coordinator like defensive game coordinators, passing game coordinators, stuff like that have been filled. I don't think any head coach. Oh, we will talk. Well, we will address the elephant in the room. I guess this is the 2 big elephants in the room. The Bills struggling in their head coaching search. We don't know. I don't really know too much personally what's going on. Whether it's just clashing ideologies between what they want, what their candidates want, or candidates kind of like what we were saying really value the Bills as a suicide job kind of. So we'll keep our sights on that as the offseason continues. But the big elephant in the room, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Brooks, have found their next great head coach. Mike Tomlin, a guy that's been there for 18 seasons, won a Super Bowl, never had a losing record. What'd you say?
19.
19 seasons. My apologies. Never had a losing record. What did they follow that up with, Brooks? Mike McCarthy.
A coach who doesn't lose.
You're right. A coach who's been wildly criticized as the Doc Rivers of the NFL. In fact, a coach whose only real playoff success and what's the right word? Legacy was built off of the Steelers losing to them in the Super Bowl. Kind of a full circle moment for Mike McCarthy. Brooks, what does this move symbolize to you?
Whoever gave Mike McCarthy the Doc Rivers crown of the NFL, applause to you. That is the perfect comparison. Prime Aaron Rodgers, prime Big 3 Celtics. Can't do it. Always blowing playoff series. This hire to me, it signals the hatred of parity. And what I mean by that is that the Steelers did not fire Mike Tomlin. Remember, Mike Tomlin stepped down, and that's a big storyline because if somebody wants to go hire Mike Tomlin, they have to they have to go trade for him. They have to buy him out. That whole
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of how the Broncos had to do with Sean Payton.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Here's my thing. Mike McCarthy is the closest hiring of Mike Tomlin you can get without actually getting Mike Tomlin in this carousel. It's a Super Bowl winning coach one time,
Mm-hmm.
heavily successful, not heavily, but successful in the regular season, gets the job done, will put you in the right position in the playoffs, and then not take you further, right? And I think that's the entire baseline. The owners, all they care about in Pittsburgh is making the playoffs, getting the money, cashing the check, going home.
Yeah.
Because I think if you're the Steelers, at some point, if you are a franchise, and this is where I'm going to applaud the Ravens. We talk about the Ravens only having 3 coaches. Talk about the Steelers only having 4 coaches. It feels as if the hire you're going to have is automatically going to be successful because you have this track record of they're automatically successful.
Mm-hmm.
But the Steelers did not take a risk. I think they're kind of staying in that conformity. While the Ravens are taking a swing at a guy who can either bring you there, you don't know, can bring you there or maybe not, right? I think with the Steelers, you're guaranteeing regular season success, but you're guaranteeing no Super Bowls. At the end of the day, Baron, I've said it for 3 years on this podcast. Damn. The worst position to be in any sports league is pretty good because you're not good enough to rebuild, or you're not bad enough to rebuild. You're not good enough to get a high draft pick. You're not good enough to win it all. And that's what I think the Steelers are putting themselves in. Pretty good.
Yeah, no, you summed it up perfectly. Because I was gonna sit here and say, and I've sat here and I've talked about this on the show before, but I characterize NFL organizations into 2 categories, right? And right now it's serious, unserious. Trying to find better terms for those. Well, I'm working on it, but serious being owners clearly love their team. They want to not only make money from it, but they want their team to do well. They want to see their team succeed, and they want to win championships. Ultimate goal of any football team, right? And then the unserious owners who, like you said, are fine with getting by, making enough money to fill seats, meet quotas, all that good business stuff, but doesn't really matter what the team looks like in terms of the football world. They could be good, they could be bad. Doesn't care as long as people are coming to watch games and not making money. Unfortunately for me, after this move, I'm now taking the Pittsburgh Steelers out of the serious organizations and putting them in the unserious organizations, which is shocking because I think if you asked anyone who's probably if you had to ask anyone who are the 3 greatest NFL franchises of all time, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are in everyone's top 3. But I think we're slow. I mean, again, outside of that one playoff win from Mike Tomlin in 2008, I think we would be talking about this Pittsburgh Steelers team in the very same breath we talk about this Dallas Cowboys team. A team or a franchise of the past, a franchise it's stuck in the 90s. They don't care about football anymore. They can't get it done, right? We talk about Mike Tomlin's amazing streak of never having a losing season. Again, he has the longest streak in NFL history without a playoff win. I think it was 10 straight playoff games without winning. You lost to the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs.
It wasn't just a loss; he got smoked. Remember that game? He got smoked. He hasn't won a playoff game since the Obama days.
Yeah. Again, I think, and again, I have friends who are Steelers. I have a family member who are Steelers fans. And this is my favorite thing to say to them. And it's the Eagles have won 2 Super Bowls within the time frame it took since the Steelers have last won a playoff game, which is true. So yeah, it seems like one of this historic franchises is fallen so greatly. And Brooks, if I'm a fan, I'd want the team to be sold, honestly, because I'm sick of it. If I were a fan of that, because again, historical greatness. Again, you can talk about never having a losing season as a coach all you want. What the fuck did you do during it? You won 1 Super Bowl. You lost another one. Again, I'm gonna say this till the day I die. Right now, there's except of tenure and how long they've been in the role, there's not much difference between Mike Tomlin and Nick Sirianni. So, yeah, I'm just going to say Steelers, it's probably time to look for new ownership because this is just sad and it's pathetic. I don't think anyone in the NFL world looks at Mike McCarthy and says, yes, this is the answer to a team in need. All this is to me is an attempt to re-sign Aaron fucking Rodgers, who's 45 years old, by the way, in an attempt to not want to rebuild. And it just makes me sick. And, yeah, what does it remind you of?
Just let me get the name right. Yes, I got the name right. This reminds me of when, and this is a little different because Kevin Durant was one of the top guys. But this reminds me when Kevin Durant was a free agent and the Washington Wizards hired Scott Brooks as their head coach, the former Oklahoma City head coach, just in an attempt to try to persuade Durant to join the Wizards. It's like, I don't think that's the smartest idea. So I agree that's what it is here. I think
except this is different in the ways that back then Kevin Durant was probably a very sought after free agent. Why the fuck do you want 45-year-old Aaron Rodgers? Like, seriously, you know what his ceiling is. It's not taking you to what your goals should be. If your goals are again to have a winning season and make the playoffs, then yeah, sure. Sign Aaron Rodgers and keep your stupid fans happy for another season. But I mean, at some point I think most of this is the fans' fault. I think Pittsburgh has the largest NFL fan base across the entire country. So and how dedicated those fans are or aren't, we don't know. But you see guys like Stephen A. Smith, who's a Steelers fan, who doesn't. It's until maybe last year you've never seen him publicly go after like ownership and the general manager for doing such a poor job. It's always been they'll figure it out. You see all these other like celebrities speak the same way about the Steelers. Up until like the last couple of years, they've never really been upset with the organization for what they've been doing. But yeah, it just seems like one of those. Yeah, it's just, to me, when I think of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2026, they're a joke. They're not a serious franchise. They are in a joke franchise that are just trying to keep their meaningless streak of making a playoff game and losing alive. Because yeah, that's not a meaningful streak at all. Making the postseason just to never win, that's not good. Because yeah, like you said, that just keeps you in NFL mediocrity, and mediocrity is the worst place to be.
Yep. And my biggest thing about the Steelers is, I could be getting my years wrong here, so that's why it's, of course, always great to have a co-host. Was 2018, right? Antonio Brown was still there, Madden 19 franchise cover.
Yeah.
Was 2018 the last time the Steelers had a great, maybe even good offense, you could say?
Easily.
Because it was downhill after 2018.
Lost Le'Veon Bell. Antonio Brown went crazy. Juju Smith-Schuster had 2 good years. Then he got cut. That was also during the slow and gradual decay of Ben Roethlisberger. I think the main crime is Mike Tomlin, and you'll have to correct me because I'm not sure how long the two of them played together. But Mike Tomlin,
a lot of correcting today.
Yeah, but Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger, or at least for Ben Roethlisberger's career, spent the majority of it together, right? And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say that Ben Roethlisberger was a bad quarterback. He's probably going to go to the Hall of Fame.
Character, good quarterback.
Yeah, character, piece of shit. Quarterback, pretty good. But what happened? So then what? The Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger slowly shows signs of regression, right? He is not the same player he once was. He's old. It's probably time for the Steelers to address that and start looking at a new quarterback. But no, they let it go on for a couple more years. They give him his retirement farewell tour. Probably past. I mean, I don't know how much of his retirement season you remember, but it got to the point it looked like it hurt for him to throw a ball 15 yards. Much like Phillip Rivers playing this last season, actually. So I think anyone could have looked at that and be like, he can no longer, like, he's been playing longer than he should have regardless, but it needs to end. Who do they replace Ben Roethlisberger with immediately? I think it was, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Dwayne Haskins. So R.I.P. to him. Obviously, that
Wasn't it
sucks.
Mason Rudolph?
Yeah, it was Mason Rudolph. I think it was like between Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins,
Rest
and
in
then
peace, Dwayne Haskins. Yep.
obviously Dwayne Haskins passed away that offseason, so they just had to roll with Mason Rudolph. But yeah, then they rolled with Mason Rudolph and like Storm Duck or something until they eventually realized that they needed to draft a quarterback. And Brooks,
Storm Duck.
yeah, that was the Pittsburgh Steelers' backup quarterback name
No,
for
it
like
wasn't.
5 years. Yeah, it was.
Do you know who Storm Duck is?
Or who was it then?
Storm Duck is a corner.
Oh, then who am I thinking of?
Bro.
Oh, Mason Duck. Something Duck.
No, Mason Rudolph was the duck hunter.
No, there was a player on this. Their backup quarterback's first name was Duck, or one of his name was Duck.
But it wasn't Storm Duck. Well,
Okay,
it
sorry,
was a guy
not
who
Storm
went
Duck.
duck hunting, I thought.
All right, no. There was one of
Devlin
Duck
Hodges.
Hodges. It was Duck Hodges. That's it.
Devlin Hodges. Duck Hodges. Yeah.
Duck Hodges. Sorry, not Storm Duck. Duck Hodges. He was their backup quarterback for like 3 or 4 years or whatever with the Mason
2
Rudolph
years.
experiment. Regardless, they decided that it was time to draft a quarterback. Why they decided that revelation during probably the worst quarterback draft class we've seen in the last
You had to.
25 years. Doesn't matter. They take one swing at a quarterback in the last 25 years in a draft. And who's that swing on, Brooks? You want to remind us?
The guy who had a rule change after him.
You're right. Super Bowl champion, actually, too, Kenny Pickett. But as you would expect, Kenny Pickett did not do shit for the Pittsburgh Steelers because they didn't win a Super Bowl with him. He was off the team in 2 years, to which they then turned to, who was it? Russell Wilson, years out of his prime. And
I forgot about Russell
exactly.
Wilson,
Russell Wilson and what was it? Justin Fields. In fact, I think Justin Fields wasn't a terrible signing for them because he actually
No, because
looked
remember
kind of
Justin
promising.
Fields started like 4-1 or like 4-2.
Yeah, no, he actually looked really good. Then when
In that
Russell
game
Wilson
against
was
the Raiders
healthy,
and
they
Raiders.
took him out. They put Russell Wilson in, and they lost that first game, so everyone was freaking out. But then they started winning again because Mike Tomlin never has a losing season. But eventually, it came to the decision: do we want to keep Russell Wilson? Do we want to keep Justin Fields? No, Brooks. We're gonna let them both walk, and we're gonna sign Aaron Rodgers when he's 45. So like, it just seems like there's no plan for a quarterback play ever since for after Ben Roethlisberger, and we need to start there. I don't think most people probably looks at this draft class, and if you're not getting Fernando Mendoza, I don't think people love it. I think you, at this point, if you're the Steelers, might as well take one more year of Aaron Rodgers and wait till next year. But honestly, if Aaron Rodgers is going to give you a winning season, then I would not sign him, and I would trot out Will Howard and let him lead you to a 3-15 season, and then take Lenore Sellers or Arch Manning or wherever you end up drafting next season, and then we can start competing again. Because again, it's just pathetic at this point.
Let me say this. With the Steelers,
Yep.
this head coach, let me make this my final point. Arthur Smith is gone.
Back to
He is now
college.
the Ohio State offensive coordinator. Of course, your head coach Mike Tomlin's gone. DC still there. Danny Smith is now gone. Danny Smith was the special teams coach, very famous special teams coach, probably the most famous special teams coach in the league. Actually, he is now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the same role. Great hire by the Bucs, by the way. He's a tremendous special teams coach. This team, the one issue though with it the entire time has been offense. And I think the guy you should have hired is the offensive-minded guru and take a swing, just how the Ravens kind of took a swing on a defensive guy. Take a swing on an offensive-minded guy. They should have went and waited for Clint Kubiak.
Yeah.
Guy who has a lot of coaching in his name, a lot of coaching in his pedigree. Get yourself an offensive-minded guy who created one of the best offenses in this league.
Like, again, all signs on the Steelers team point to a rebuild. You look at defense, best players, TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward. Those are old dudes. In fact, I think TJ Watt's probably going to get traded this season. In fact, here's my predicted drama of the whole thing. I think he's going to request it because I don't think they're going to want to trade him.
Yeah, I don't think
and that
anyone
just goes
plays
back to show how poorly this franchise is being run. Because again, hiring a guy like Mike McCarthy doesn't signal to me that this team's looking to rebuild. They're looking to retool and compete. And when you retool, you're usually not trading away your best players. So yeah, Steelers will be one of the teams. At least I'm going to be watching this next season and off season to see how they handle it. But it does not look good in my opinion. But we'll finish this episode off with something special, near and dear to our hearts, Brooks, and that is the Pro Bowl. What has it become, Brooks? I don't know if you saw the news yesterday. You definitely have, though. In the wake of
No, no, no,
superstar
no, no,
Drake
no.
May, quarterback, going to the Super Bowl,
Never,
who
ever,
do you think the NFL
ever.
went ahead and appointed as his Pro Bowl
The
quarterback
video on my
replacement?
Instagram, people are gonna think I'm racist, and I'm not. All right. Never in a million should Shadur Sanders be a Pro Bowl quarterback.
No,
Never in a million
I don't think
years.
you'll find anyone that
More
disagrees with you
interceptions than
besides.
touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't think you'll find anyone that disagrees with that stance besides maybe Shadur Sanders fans. But yeah, no, more interceptions than touchdowns. That should be the cutoff right there. The fact that he only played like 4 games. So we're not going to talk about why or why not Shadur Sanders deserves to make the Pro Bowl. I think that answer is kind of clear. I think my question for you here is, Brooks, how far from grace have we fallen from the
Very,
days of the mighty Pro Bowl?
very. Baron, I know the NHL last year they replaced the All-Star game with the four countries, the four series, and that was awesome. We're not going to do that for NFL. It just doesn't work like that. Let me say this: in the wake of the two sports that you probably watch the least of the big four, you need to tune into the hockey, the NHL All Star Game, or the four series because that was awesome. And the MLB All Star Game is awesome. The MLB does it the best. The MLB used to. I don't. There's technically not a possible way for this to happen. The MLB used to make it to where the winner of the All Star Game, that conference, it's called a league, and but that conference would actually be the host of the World Series, no matter what the records were.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that put a lot on the line. They got rid of it because I think it put too much emphasis on like the records that don't matter. Or you just made the playoffs, and you're going to be even if the 7 seed hosts the 1 seed, it would be like if the 7 seed, whatever that team was, the Packers. Let's say they made it to the Super Bowl, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
played the 1 seed New England Patriots or whatever 1 seed Denver Broncos. It would be in Green Bay, And some people would find that very unfair. But I think the home run derby, awesome. All Star game, awesome. NHL does it well. Basketball, football are struggling. I really don't know how to fix football.
I had an idea.
Basketball, you can fix. Baron, let's
Basketball's
close out with your
basketball's
idea.
is a fix. I think both sports are a fix. You just have to get more creative with the
No,
ways.
there are no. I'm saying is it. I think both of them are wrong. I think both All Star games in basketball and
So
football are bad.
we'll stick with football right here.
Yep.
Flag football is stupid. Let's get rid of it. I think the problem with the NFL Pro Bowl is motivation, and I think that's the biggest problem with the NFL All Star Game as well. Is none of these max contract players want to risk injury or just something happening in a game that's ultimately meaningless for their team as a whole or their season as a whole, right? So, and we'll stick with NFL for now. I really like your idea of the winner of the Pro Bowl game, that conference gets to host the Super Bowl, right? Now, I'm not saying that the team that goes to the Super Bowl, so say like the NFC, like you said, won the Pro Bowl, and then that would mean the Seahawks get to host the what's it called, the Super Bowl. But I think that it should be in a stadium like near where the Seahawks are, right? It should be in the NFC, like one of their division rival stadiums, kind of like it is this season. Whereas I think the best example would be if the AFC won the Pro Bowl, then I think you play this year's Super Bowl at, say, MetLife, somewhere that's a lot closer to the Patriots side, if that makes any sense. So I think the best, but I also think the best way to do it, because this would create storylines and things to just kind of track. So what we would do is we would have this year's Pro Bowl. The outcome determines next year's Super Bowl location, right? So you could have, say, a team like, and we'll just throw this out there for fun, the Carolina Panthers, who made the playoffs this year, right? Say they got 3 or 4 of their players sent to the Pro Bowl. Now their players might have some incentive to play hard in the Pro Bowl to guarantee a more home field advantage for the possibility that their team then goes to the Super Bowl next year, right? Or if you want to think of it more realistic, a team that actually has contention chances, you can take a team like the Bears or a team like maybe even the Kansas City Chiefs, right? A team that maybe had a bad year but is anticipating a strong playoff run next year. That gives their Pro Bowl players more of an incentive to compete. I just think it gives every player more incentive to compete because, hey, there's a possibility that my team is competing for a Super Bowl next year. If I have any influence on the outcome of where that game is played, and if that outcome being played closer to my stadium would be better, then I'm going to do that. And then I think that NFL office could also then kind of work with those organizations to sort of maybe get those fan bases more tickets as well, to sort of reinforce that sort of home field advantage you're playing for. But I do really like that idea, at least. I just think you really need, like, and especially for the NFL or the NBA, I don't think the format of the games being played is wrong. You just need to fix the motivation that these players are playing for. And I think the All-Star tournament, granted, I'll be the first one to dog on Adam Silver and his flaws and all that, but I do think the incentive of the winning All-Star team donating charity money and stuff like that, I think that has had some impact to some degree. But I just think we need to make it, instead of, and this might sound bad, but instead of the benefit of these athletes donating money and helping others, maybe if we make the benefit receiving money and benefiting themselves, then they might play harder. So
here's what I'm gonna say. Let's close this out really quickly because I don't like the Pro Bowl that much.
Yeah.
But I will tune into the Pro Bowl just because I want to come back to this podcast and give a fair synopsis and analysis of what it is.
Thank God, that means I don't have to watch it.
Yeah. I'll close it out with this, Baron.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a stat and let's play a little fun game for you.
Okay.
Here's a fun little stat about the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. In this century, every time the Super Bowl has been played in between two teams, direction-wise, East and West,
I've
the
heard
team
this.
traveling west has always won this century. 9-0. I can give you a couple examples. Last year, New Orleans, Eagles went west, Chiefs went east. 2 years ago, Chiefs went west to Vegas, 49ers went east to Vegas. 2019, Patriots went west to Atlanta, Rams went east to Atlanta. And it continues from there. Every team that has gone west has won. Every team that's gone east has lost. Of course, setting this up to be the Seahawks going east, the supposed to be a losing team, Patriots going west.
Are they going east?
So Seattle's the furthest most west team.
Right, and I guess that's true.
So actually, they can only go east.
Let me pull up
They're the furthest most west.
Right here. What is it, San Francisco?
Yes, that's technically east,
right.
Southeast. But
no, you're right. Technically, it is.
You're looking at a map right there. You got a globe.
Yeah, I have a globe right here.
That's so dope. And then, Baron, let's play a little fun game. Baron, this is random NFL trivia. Let's go. Do you want to go off number or amount?
Number.
What is the number one most fined team in the league this year? Number of fines.
Probably this. I'm gonna assume the Seahawks.
The Seahawks are middle of the pack.
Okay.
They're
Um,
13. That is basically half of what this team has. 25.
um,
25.
give me one hint.
This is a team that has got a lot of fines because of celebrations, maybe for first downs.
Is it the Cowboys? Because they're the ones that do that.
Cowboys on the
Okay.
money. Cowboys. The Cowboys, I think probably a lot from George Pickens and CD Lamb and doing that stuff. The
Well, yeah, and you're not
Cowboys,
allowed to like wipe your
yeah,
nose. They
exactly.
banned that, and all season they've been doing that.
Yeah.
So
The Cowboys have been fined 25 times, but they're but they're the second highest totally fined team, Baron. Number one is a hint, still lands close to home for you. Not
Panthers.
true, not true close to home. No. Think
Oh,
of
the Giants,
close.
Redskins.
The Commanders. Yes, the Commanders are racist. The
Whatever.
Washington Commanders, $379,003 total dollars.
Yeah.
I
You
think
got
this is
Frankie
funny.
Louvu jumping on top of people again.
The top three most fined teams in terms of number of fines and money: Dallas, Philly, Washington, and the Giants are number 6 in total fines. So the NFC East really putting up some numbers in terms of the donations this year.
Well, I think we all have to remember before the very first snap of the NFL season, Dak Prescott was spit on by Jalen Carter. So starting the year
It's crazy.
starting the year off strong right there.
Crazy is
Yeah, it feels like so long ago.
that's what it was in soccer. When it's May and somebody tells you something that happened in August, you're like, holy crap, that felt like a century ago. That Jalen Carter spit feels like it was 2 seasons ago, man.
Yeah,
That
that's what we started our
crazy.
season with,
That was
raising a
crazy.
banner and spitting on Dak Prescott.
Hell yeah.
Can't think of a better start, honestly.
That's was Eagle way right there, right?
Hell yeah.
What do you think is our last question, least fined team in the league? Who are the good guys in the league, Baron?
Patriots,
No,
Chiefs.
Pats are one of the bottom, but they're fined 9 times. This team was only fined 4 times this year, Baron.
Who's the NFL love? Bills.
No, the Bills. The Bills were actually one of the highest teams.
49ers. They don't
No,
call
the
penalties on the
49ers.
49ers for some reason.
Think about if you were thinking of a team that's like, if you were building a brand new sports league, it'd be one of the last cities you put a sports team in.
The Panthers.
Oh, close, but no.
The Buccaneers.
No, Central.
Fuck. Kansas City. I already guessed them. What? Cincinnati.
It's close. Not the Cleveland, but close. Second lowest to find team is Cincinnati with 5.
Fuck. What's close
But
to
still,
Cincinnati?
you're still close geographically.
The Colts.
The Indianapolis Colts, the good guys in the league this year, 4 times fined, $32,352.
All right.
There you go.
That's it.
All right. Well,
I guess.
is there anything else that you want to add on to?
No.
Thought it'd be fun to end with a little trivia.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Well,
Ooh, sorry.
that'll be another episode of Nothing Agreed. Thank you all so much for listening. What were your thoughts about the conference championship? And let us know your early predictions for the Super Bowl. Other than that, thank you for listening and peace.